Years ago, when God led me to start a non-profit mechanic company where my full-time job was fixing cars for broke people for free, he made it clear in several different ways that that's what he wanted me to do so that I had no doubts at all. At the time, I'd been a mechanic for about 5 or 6 years and I was looking for a job. Then one day at church, the pastor taught something and it led me to believe that God didn't just want me to find a job, but he wanted me to find something where I could pour out what he was pouring into me. Now, I've been the kind of mechanic that gives mechanics a bad name. I was a liar and a thief, so when I read Ephesians 4:28, let him who stole steal no more, but rather let him labor working with his hands that which is good so that he can have something to give to him who has need, it pierced my heart. That's when I got the idea of starting a non-profit mechanic company. It became an idea I could not shake. So one night I took a step of faith and told my wife, I think God wants me to start this business. She said, hold on a minute. She went to the bedroom, came back with her Bible, and she said, I want to show you what God has been telling me. And she opened her Bible and read Ephesians 4:28. She was convinced I was right and that's what God wanted me to do. And then she gave me her blessing to do it. After that, a pastor called me up and said, hey, I know you're a mechanic. We've got this guy in our church, Eric. His car's broke down. Can you go and look at it? Eric's car was a mid-90s Chevy with a blown engine. Before it had died, the transmission was slipping and the power steering pump and alternator were also ring out, and none of us had money to buy any of those parts. Then 3 days later, my brother that I hadn't talked to in a year called me up and said, hey, somebody abandoned a mid-90s Chevy in my driveway. If you can use it for parts, you can have it. For me, that was confirmation from God. If you want to know more about my story or how to see God at work in your life in new ways, download a free PDF copy of my book at crazygodstory.com.